Hey everybody, this is Danny here, of course, and I'm editing the podcast as we speak. And like I mentioned before on Unverse podcast, every now and then things happen before the episodes come out. And rather than just waiting till who knows when the next one will be out for Marvel Talk, I figured I'll come in here at the beginning and just give our quick thoughts about what has happened since the last time we recorded. Very shortly after, we got the little teaser trailer or whatever you want to call it from Marvel of them showing off their slate of future movies. And with it, we got some very small clips of all the movies in there that are already being filmed or are coming out this year. So we mainly got some stuff with Eternals. It's very boring footage. There's really nothing to show anything other than Angelina Jolie rocking her sword. And that was pretty much it. We just see the cast all grouped up together. And with it, we got the release dates for all the films and exactly what the Phase 4 slate is going to look like movie-wise. We also got the confirmations of Captain Marvel 2 being called The Marvels, with the S being the S on Miss Marvel's outfit. So I guess we're going to be seeing Miss Marvel team up with Captain Marvel. And then we also got Black Panther 2's name, which is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. My initial thought was, oh yeah, because that's such an iconic phrase from Black Panther. Everyone still says it even to this day, Wakanda Forever. So of course, that would be a good way to call the sequel, as well as paying tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who sadly passed away. I was talking to Jake if he wanted any extra thoughts, and yeah, nothing really interests him instead of what we already talked about here in this episode, mainly with Shang-Chi and Multiverse of Madness, and that's pretty much it. And then today, actually, as this episode drops, we got a quote from Kevin Feige himself confirming the rumors that Doctor Strange was going to be in WandaVision at the very end. And that the commercials were initially intended as messages to Wanda from Doctor Strange himself. Yeah, I understand with the scheduling stuff, Doctor Strange was supposed to be coming out sooner than what it is going to be now because of COVID. But we also got a quote going further into detail. And he says, some people might say, oh, it would have been so cool to see Doctor Strange, but it would have taken away from Wanda. We didn't want the end of the show to be set up for the next movie. Here's a white guy, let me show you how power works, as he would say. It feels like it's way off the mark. DC also has done some stuff recently that makes no sense really. So just to break it down real quick, the finale of WandaVision, right? It's all about her, but it's also setting up future stuff as well, as we saw with I don't even remember her name. It's been so long. The one officer that ends up getting powers through the show, that's obvious setup that she's going to be coming into the future of the MCU. And I'm pretty sure they confirmed she's going to be in Captain Marvel's, right? There was talks about that. So how is that not set up for the next movie? I mean, sure, it's a minor thing and it doesn't really connect to Wanda herself in any way as far as the show pushing future stuff. It's one of those things where the fans wanted to see Doctor Strange, but I don't think having Doctor Strange show up in the finale of WandaVision would bring down Wanda herself. Because if I had to guess, it's not like Strange is going to be coming in to save the day at the end. He's going to come in and retrieve Wanda after she does whatever she already did in the finale by defeating Agatha. And then says like, okay, it's time to train your powers because you're actually a pretty big deal in magic and you don't know what you're doing. You've been going off of feelings this whole time on how to use your powers. Let me actually teach you some magic so that way you can harness it and not go crazy like this Phoenix form that you have. I think that would have been a fine ending because instead of just her leaving, not saying anything to anybody, she's actually going with Doctor Strange, who is, a known Avenger, if they even consider him an Avenger at this point, right? And that would give ease on the public and everybody that was trapped in this world she created this whole time to give ease to know that an Avenger is taking care of this person to make sure she won't be a future problem and everything that goes with that. And I think to just have it break down to, here's the white guy, let me show you how the power works, is so ignorant, I would say. It totally goes right over the head of what they themselves at Marvel have been saying, right? It just really makes no sense to put that kind of quote, right? To just say like, oh, hey, here's a character that has one movie and did some pretty cool stuff in Avengers 3 and had a little time in Avengers 4. He's going to overshadow Wanda, who's the main focus of this show, who's been in multiple movies. Okay, I understand that I guess the hype would be that Doctor Strange was in the finale and it would take over social media wise and on Twitter. But the story you're telling itself, he wouldn't really affect it that much. And that's all I really have to say. And of course, Jake is upset about that because, he's a big Doctor Strange fan as well. And then the other confusing thing that's actually upsetting DC fans, who would have thought, was from Warner Brothers themselves saying that the next Superman movie will be the first with a black actor portraying Kal-El, and that they are hiring a black director. This is also confusing here. So we're coming off of Zack Snyder's Justice League. We're coming off of Ray Fisher coming in about what happened on set when Joss Whedon was there and how they were pushing his story out of the film. And then now here we are coming in with the next Superman movie, which majority of the DC fans want to see Henry Cavill come back. When is Man of Steel 2? That's been the question since BVS. And instead we're getting a different Superman. And then the not so surprising backlash, if you will, against this news is that DC fans are upset at this because, one, again, Henry Cavill's great as Superman. We're big fans here on the show as well of him. And then two, there is a black Superman, right? Zal Zod. And everybody kept saying, why aren't we doing Zal Zod? Why does it have to be Kal-El? That makes no sense. It feels like they're really trying to push something and they miss the mark completely. This black Superman film has been in the talks for a while, right? And if you look all over social media when this has been in the talks, what is the first thing they show? It's Michael B. Jordan, right? And of course he's wearing Henry Cavill's suit because that's just how those what if casting things do, like Boss Logic does. But then the other stuff you see that looks great is him wearing Zal Zod's suit. So why not just do Zal Zod? It makes no sense. If they're really trying to expand the multiverse, it doesn't have to be Kal-El. The fans don't even want Kal-El to be black, right? Instead of replacing an actor for the same character in a completely different movie that's not going to connect to Man of Steel, just start your own fresh new thing with a new character that people actually enjoy. And I said earlier about how the whole Cyborg situation, right? And how this feels a little weird. But on the other hand, I understand because, again, this is all about business, right? I mean, sure, you want to appease the fans, but the first priority for a lot of these films is, are they going to be profitable? And Superman is going to bring in a lot more money than Cyborg, realistically. We might go a little bit more, get more of Jake's thoughts about all this stuff that popped up on the next episode that we do, which will hopefully be soon. So just wanted to get that out real quick, let you know our initial thoughts of what's going on since we recorded to now with all that big news. So, all right, cool. Thanks, guys. And let's resume the program. Hello, I'm Danny.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Marvel Talk. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a fantastic episode of Marvel Talk. We got some great stuff to talk about. The finale for Invincible just dropped this prior weekend, and we got some stuff to say about it. But before we do, there was some news and stuff that we want to talk about before we dive deep into the show. Just real quick, because I don't want to get too deep into it. The last episode was a solo episode for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where I just talked about the first 5 episodes and how we just don't like that show. And I said in the episode, my opinions really wouldn't change by watching the finale. And that is true. My only other thing about the finale is I have a lot more complaints about the show.
I'm curious if you're down. You can just rap at me about it real quick.
The highlight for the finale was the fact that there was a lot of fight scenes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, okay, cool. It's very action-packed. That's cool to see. The way Sam can use the shield is pretty much what you would expect with him with his wings and then tossing the shield around.
Okay. I guess it's like light, right? Or something still because
yeah.
Sam doesn't have super soldier by the end, right?
No, he doesn't. No.
Okay. Because I thought the whole reason that Cap could wield the thing in the first place was because of the super soldier power. I've always been a little confused about that.
At least him throwing it at that speed.
Yeah.
And we see that in the show where, spoilers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier if you guys haven't seen it, but yeah, John Walker, eventually he gets the serum, and we get to see him chuck the shield a bit. And it sort of it looks like that. Bucky throws it during a little training arc with Sam, and it's the same. But then when Sam throws it, it's all the same. It's even bouncing off The tree's the same exact way. Yeah.
That sort of doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's made out of vibranium. Vibranium can do anything though now. So
one of my biggest complaints with the finale was actually with John Walker. And it's not with him himself, it's what happens to him in the episode. And he has this great moment where he wants to redeem himself, and we actually see that happen. I think it was episode 5, the mid-credit scene. We see him creating his own Captain America shield with just, some metal he has lying around. And so he's coming in, and at this point, he's been discharged as Captain America. We don't really know the view, like the public view of him, but it's probably not positive. Him coming in, fighting the Flag Smashers, you would think that he'd be emotional and crazy because they killed his best friend who was his sidekick. But instead he comes in and he does what's right and he fights these people who are basically terrorists. And he's sort of redeeming himself. He's teaming up with Sam and Bucky, and there's really no hate between them, even though they fought a few episodes ago, because he understands the situation they're in and how he was out of hand at that moment when they fought each other.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and then there's a moment where I think it was Carly or one of the head people from the Flag Smashers. They pushed or blew up one of the vans, and it was about to fall into this pit at this construction site, and there's still people in there. And so here comes John Walker with the super soldier serum, holding on to the van and trying to lift it back up while he's being attacked by a bunch of Flag Smashers at the same time. But he knows the priority is to save these people. Instead of him saving them in the van, it's actually Sam. He flies up and somehow holds onto the van, and I guess it's because of his jetpack, I guess. And he pushes the van up and saves the people instead of John Walker. And to me, I thought it would have been a great redemption if he saved these people, and he sort of has this new look to the public kind of thing.
Yeah, that feels like it undercuts the moment a bit. And also, how does that work with Sam? He's got normal human arms.
Oh, he puts it on his back, and he's lifting it up with the jet.
Oh.
When I saw that, that's the first thing I thought. I'm like, there's no way he can do this. Even if I'm assuming his wings are made out of vibranium now, but it's that shouldn't really happen.
I like that Wakanda became Tony Stark. That's where all the new tech comes from.
But yeah, that bums me out about that scene, because to me, that scene was saying that John Walker wants to prove that he's still worthy of being Captain America, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what was going on with him throughout the whole show. Even the part where he's talking to the senators and all that, revoking his title, and he says you guys made me into this. I was going to be the perfect soldier you guys wanted me to be, so I was doing what you guys probably would have wanted me to do. And then seeing this happen is just another way to say that, right? But then, of course, it's in a more positive light than just killing some random person in the middle of a plaza. So that bummed me out. But it's cool that he gets the U.S. agent suit.
Yeah, I dig the new suit a lot. I think it's really cool.
And then, of course, the biggest complaint is the main antagonist, Carly. She just kind of really makes no sense as a character.
Yeah.
I would have to say it's probably because of, what we've been hearing about with the show, is that originally it was going to be a different type of plot for the Flag Smashers.
Yeah, there's going to be a pandemic plot. And I can understand why that got cut, but I think they needed a little bit more going on with the new plot line, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, because from what I've heard is that, it's a virus, and the reason that they're acting as terrorists is because they're trying to steal the vaccines that people of lower classes aren't receiving. That was her whole ideology behind doing everything she does and why she feels justified.
Okay.
But then here it's just, people that moved into different countries for work and have been living there since the snap happened have to get evicted because the people who originally lived in those homes are back. And now these people that moved during the time skip are being neglected by the government. And so it's up to her and the Flag Smashers to bring balance back with their catchphrase saying one world, one people.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Sam, being the sympathetic character he is, agrees with them and tries to talk to the government officials on the news about this while there's cameras rolling everywhere after they save everybody. The senators just bring out a good point. He's like, so what do we do with the people that come back? Do they just become homeless while other people live in their houses? they said it's more complicated than that, Sam. And he's like, no, he's like, it doesn't have to be. And then he just goes on this speech that just really doesn't make any sense. And it's really just there so that way you feel sympathy for Carly and the fact that he agreed with her earlier kind of thing. But yeah, it's kind of contradictory when she literally 5 minutes ago said, okay, screw it, we're killing all the senators. And it's like, wait, that wasn't part of the plan. It's just like, well, that's what happens.
Oh my gosh, this show doesn't know what it wants. I'm not going to watch it. There's no way. I can't. There's no way. I'm sorry, everybody. If you like it, that's really cool.
Exactly.
I'm glad you enjoy it. That's awesome. But I think me personally, I don't think this is a Marvel show for me. And I'm sure that if you like this show, you probably also really liked Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because that's what this show feels like. It gives off the vibe to me of, is that level of quality, which is not great, in my opinion. But if you like both of those, then cool. That's good for you.
Yeah, and there is some good stuff sprinkled out, but just with the mess that it is trying to put everything together in one cohesive narrative, it's just, honestly, it really shouldn't have been 6 episodes.
I feel like it could have benefited from either having more episodes and content, or just being a movie. Because this feels like a plot that could have just happened in 2 hours. Like, you probably couldn't have gotten some of the depth with some of the stuff like Isaiah Bradley, maybe not as deep. All of the bullet points that people have told me about the show, the stuff that sticks with them, is stuff that could have been done in like a 2-hour movie, I think.
I agree. There's a lot of fat you could trim. The Isaiah Bradley stuff, I will say it would probably still fit. I mean, it's only really 3 major scenes that are important to Sam. So this is my problem. A lot of people always say that this show is about what does it mean for a black man to be Captain America. And I just felt like that was never really addressed the entire time until it got addressed in episode, I think, 4, where Sam is talking to Isaiah Bradley. And then Isaiah Bradley specifically says, he's just like, nobody wants a black Captain America. They want the blonde hair and the blue eyes. And, so people kept saying like, that's what the show is about, but it's never really brought up. Every time Bucky asked Sam, like, why did you give up the shield? He just said, I thought I was making the right choice, and was never alluded to anything about Sam being conflicted about how is this going to reflect of me carrying the shield? How is the public going to react to that? That's never really brought up until that specific episode with Isaiah Bradley. And then it's brought up again in the finale when Sam explicitly says that on the news.
Wow.
And that's what you expect, right? It's obviously going to be positive feedback from him being Cap, because Isaiah's being very negative because he's from the past, or he's thinking as if it's still the same era that he was brought up in as a super soldier. And Sam's here to prove that, like, no, times are different. And that's true in Marvel, right? Times are different in there.
Yep. It's 2025 or whatever in Marvel.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Like, it's like super far forward in the future.
There just really wasn't any discussion prior to that episode. So to me, that's the problem, is that, like, if that's such an important thing, why was that not there episode 1?
Yeah, it feels weird, like, because it sounds like that's supposed to be like a theme of the show, but if it's not reflected in the way the show's set up, then it's not really a theme.
Because even in the first episode, Rhodey's there talking to Sam about what's going on, why he's given up the shield to the Smithsonian, and to me, it felt like Sam was feeling pressure that he couldn't live up to Steve's reputation. And that's, for me, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to why he would give up the shield, because there's no way he could live up to Steve Rogers' Captain America. And that's why he says, like, this was Steve's and it will stay Steve's, so that's why I can't carry it. Therefore, we're going to preserve it in his memory at this museum to show that he was a symbol of an era.
See, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's a really logical thing to do.
And that's what I felt in the first episode, and then it's not until later down the line where it says that. It's like, no, they don't.
That's so weird.
Again, if there was the same amount of episodes as WandaVision, I think they could have worked a lot more into the writing.
Well, I guess the other part of it is that, like, WandaVision's episodes were all, like, mostly a half hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So much shorter than the episodes for this show. Because this show was all, like, hour long or 45-minute, right?
Yeah, they range from, like, 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. So they're not, like, too much longer than WandaVision. Yeah, they could have used a couple extra episodes, it sounds like then.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's either more episodes or you really trim it down, tighten it up, so that way it fits a two 15-hour movie.
From everything that I've been told about this movie, it feels like it would have been better as a movie. I probably would have watched that movie because I'm like, it's a movie. It's only 2 hours of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably would have, the themes probably would have been a little bit more focused and stuff, and maybe it would have been made a little more sense. I don't know. I guess we got what we got, and I don't need to see it, so that's cool.
And again, like you said earlier, if you guys like the show, good on you. I just found myself being distracted every time I would watch an episode because it's just not really catching my attention.
How did you feel about our two lost cameos that could have happened in this show?
Yeah, that was in the news recently. Two of them being Spider-Man and Steve Rogers himself. I think it would have been great to have Steve there, and I think what they would have done with him was probably set up the motivation for Sam to pick up the shield.
Yeah.
And I think Isaiah fills that role. Whereas it's not really motivation on Isaiah's side, but it's to prove Isaiah wrong. That actually I can be Captain America and people will accept it. It's the same end result, but it's just slightly different motivations into picking up the shield for Sam.
I don't know which one I would have liked better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they would have done Old Man Steve talking to Sam about it. With Spider-Man, that would have been cool. My guess is the fact that this is... I don't know exactly when this is, if it's either before or after Far From Home.
Somebody was saying that this is set before Far From Home. Like, and I don't remember where I read it, but that's supposedly a thing that got confirmed, I guess. So I don't know what that would mean for like Peter Parker and Spider-Man being around.
Because if it's after, then that would make sense. They can't really get Peter at the moment because, as we see in the set photos and all that, he's on the run in Spider-Man 3. So yeah, it is 6 months after Endgame specifically.
Okay.
This article is saying it would go Endgame, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and then Far From Home is what they're guessing. Where, I mean, WandaVision, you could kind of really just fit anywhere.
Yeah, it's just got to be before Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
That's basically the only thing that has to deal with it. I feel like that could have been pretty close after Endgame, though, because it would have been right after Wanda came back and was trying to figure out what happened to Vision. I feel like that one probably could have been, like, within the week of, like, Endgame or something.
I would say so, right? Because we do get those flashback scenes where Wanda wants to see Vision's body, and that has to be pretty early.
And then she finds, like, the will with the letter, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
when she gets that stuff, and she wouldn't have gotten that stuff until she got back. So I figure WandaVision probably happened pretty soon after.
But yeah, as far as the cut cameos, I think it's just Kevin Feige, like, he knows what he wants to do in this arc post-Endgame. And so he just wants to be careful with where they put pieces. I think the quote itself was, I mean, Spider-Man would be cool, but does it feel right for him to be in the show?
Yeah.
And again, if it is post Far From Home, that makes sense.
Because I feel like, they're on Spidey's turf, so he would show up.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and it would make sense too, because you would think Sam Wilson is Captain America. That'd be pretty big news. Or even John Walker being Captain America. Like, that would make TV news. That would have popped up while they were on vacation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Like, that definitely would have been a thing that they would have seen.
But anywho, man, we got other stuff to talk about that we're more positive on.
Yeah, some more exciting stuff for us.
We can start with Snyder Cut, still popping up in the news every now and then, right? As we see
Yep.
The actor that Snyder picked for Green Lantern, Wayne T. Carr, posted some set photos of him actually filming some scenes.
Yeah, like some actual set photos, which is pretty neat. It looks like Jon Stewart. And I'm
Mhm.
like, man, that would have been so good to have at the end of that movie.
Is this like a test footage type of deal, like with the Deathstroke clip that we had before Justice League came out? Or were these actual scenes in the movie?
No, this was going to be at the end where Martian Manhunter shows up.
Oh, it's these scenes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's that Jon Stewart stuff. Because they actually shot it.
Right.
The studio just was like, no, can't put that in there. You could put Jon Stewart at the end of this. You're not going to... What are we going to do with him later?
Yeah, that's my only thing is, were they going to use him in a later movie and they didn't want a casting now?
I think that's the story. I think he looks good. If anything, I'd say just bring him back, like, to keep being Jon Stewart since he's already been casted. I don't know. I guess they might have their own choice of who they want Jon Stewart to be.
Of course, he put hashtag restore the Snyderverse, as that's the big hashtag.
Oh yeah, it's 1.5 million retweets in like less than a day.
Mm-hmm.
If Warner Brothers isn't paying attention, I don't know what they're doing.
Well, as we saw over on Vero with Zack Snyder taking shots at the 4K release of Joss Whedon's Justice League.
I can't believe they put a trailer out for that. Baloney. So wait a minute, are we getting a 4K release of Zack Snyder's? I thought that was like a thing. They like found like a DVD case for it or something.
Yeah, there's reports of it coming out, I think on Blu-ray and 4K. Yeah, so this article says May 24th, the 4K Blu-ray and DVD will be out. Yeah, a couple articles keep saying the same thing, May 24th.
Okay, cool.
The only reason I got Whedon version was to save space on the shelf for the Snyder cut.
Yeah, no, as soon as the new one comes in, I'm going to be tossing out my old one. I like that special edition box with like the cool art on the front and the art book on the inside, but it's also the Joss Whedon one. And I'm like, nope, no more.
So again, going to be curious to see what Warner Brothers is really going to say. I mean, the last thing they really said was Zack Snyder's trilogy's done. This wasn't even supposed to happen, but here we are.
Yep.
And the fact that Joss Whedon's is still canon, which I saw some funny tweets about that. Where it's like, you're going to let this goofy Steppenwolf stay alive in the DC universe?
Yeah, right? Like, I saw that post, and I was just like, oh, man, that can't happen. It can't. Like, that Steppenwolf is alive, and I hate it.
But then that also begs the question, would they even touch Darkseid again?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel like they got more stuff getting set up through, like, Shazam and Black Adam. We'll probably never see Darkseid.
I would say they'd probably try to form the Justice Society in that aspect.
Well, I mean, we'll see the Legion of Doom before we see Darkseid in the main universe, right? Because that's what Lex Luthor wants to do.
A league of our own.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I will still hold true. Not only did Jared Leto get redeemed, they redeemed Lex Luthor, I think, in the Snyder Cut also. I think his final scene in that movie is really, really good. And it doesn't get talked about enough. I'm just bringing it up again because I like that scene. It's just great.
On to more positive DC news, I guess.
Yeah.
They did confirm Wonder Woman 3 is going to be set in the present.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that confirmation. Nice.
Yeah, I think Patty Jenkins herself said it. There will be other heroes showing up, I think, as well.
All right. Maybe Aquaman?
I mean, honestly, it'd be cool if they could get Zachary Levi Shazam.
Oh, that would be dope. I would love that. Shazam being the connective tissue of the universe would be pretty cool. Like having him be like the main guy going around getting the other heroes.
Yeah, if we're not moving forward with the Snyderverse, then yeah, have Shazam be the glue. Him and Gal could play off of each other well.
Oh, yeah.
The Greek gods as well. Like, the common aspect of that would be good, too.
Yeah, that would be great. Her, like, hearing about the wizard and stuff would probably be, like, a whole thing, too. Like, she'd probably have knowledge of who that guy was.
Like, wouldn't it be cool if there was, be, like, a flashback or something to where Black Adam invaded, like, the Amazons?
Oh, that would be tight. Yeah. And they, like, fought him off or whatever. That would be super cool. Yeah, I would love that. That'd be super cool.
The only other person I could think of would be Ben Affleck if they want to bring him back for Batman.
Yeah, that's the only other way I think they could connect it.
Yeah, just to get more Bruce Diana moments.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because as much as I want Snyderverse, it sounded like we weren't going to get a whole lot of that.
I would love for it to happen. It might all depend on what happens with the Flash movie.
Yes,
the Flash movie could go either way, I think, at this point.
Mm-hmm. I had a thought about the Flash movie with the fact that there's going to be two Batmen.
It'll be Affleck and Keaton, right?
Yeah. And, we're all thinking, Keaton's reprising his role. But what I was thinking would be an interesting twist is, what if Keaton is older Ben Affleck Batman? Right? Like they wound up in the future in an alternate reality.
That would be pretty tight.
I would like that mainly because at the end, we could see Ben Affleck rocking the OG Batsuit. Because maybe his got damaged along the way.
Yeah, that would be super. Oh my god, dude.
That was just an idea I had. I was like, actually, yeah, I would like to see that happen. And it could be something where like Keaton's version is, he went down like the wrong path or something, made a lot of mistakes. And, here's Bruce now to where he could learn from that or something. And then passing on the mantle to say like, okay, you can, right my wrongs. that I did when I was your age, kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Oh my god, I would love that. Oh my god, that would be so cool.
Speaking of Flash, we got news on that, right? Like they started. What did they do? They started production or something?
I think so. They started shooting something like that. I remember I shared it in the thingy.
Yeah, there was like this big. It was just the logo.
There's a picture. Yeah. They showed the logo. Oh yeah, it was just a logo graphic for the Flash, which is still really cool. If that's going to be the texture of the suit, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it would fit that concept art we got.
Yeah, I think so. The one with Michael Keaton Batman in the background.
Yes, that was good. But hey, speaking of concept art, we got that new stuff with Kilowog. That looks great.
Whoo! Kilowog's concept art, man. All for him to be in a, I guess a small spoiler for Justice League, if you have not watched the 4-hour cut. Kilowog's in one scene and he's dead. Mm-hmm. Poor guy. Superman is just like floating over him, and I'm like, yeah, Superman punched a hole through Kilowog.
Yeah,
100%. Like that's, and the fact that he still has the suit and the ring on him means that there's nowhere else for the ring to go. So that's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good. And that's not something that Zack Snyder would just forget about. That he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, we got the scene earlier of the ring flying away, going to somebody.
I have a theory, is that it went to Abin Sur. You know, the guy who gets it before Hal Jordan. But I don't know how long Abin Sur's lifespan is. So it could be like the guy before Abin Sur.
Yeah, I like that idea.
But yeah, Kilowog, man. Yeah, if you don't know, the guy that we're talking about, the concept artist, his page is JS Marantz with a Z, and he's a concept artist on a bunch of different stuff. He's been showing off a ton of behind the scenes art from Justice League. So go check it out if you guys are interested in seeing just a bunch of concept images from this awesome movie.
Yeah, I'm looking at his page. He's got the concept art for the priests that were enchanting the mother boxes in the flashback scene. That looks
so
great.
Creepy looking. Oh man, I love it.
Seeing the shot of his alternate design for Cyborg where he has 4 arms.
Well, Cyborg has 4 arms in the movie.
Yeah, but those two are just more like robotic arms. Where here.
Oh yeah, these are like matching arms.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I could see that being in there. It really fits the tone that Snyder was throwing in there.
Everybody should go give it a check out. Like all these pictures that are Justice League photos.
The final DC stuff. Well, the final positive DC stuff that we have is the announcement of DC Fandom coming back.
Yeah, buddy.
October 16th.
Yeah, which isn't too far off. I'm pretty excited about it. I liked last year's quite a bit. I thought it was really cool, and the big Shazam push from last year's was really awesome. I'm hoping they have something from Black Adam to show. Are they shooting that yet? I can't remember.
Well, we keep getting announcements for casting.
Yeah, and then they announced a release date. Did you see that video?
Oh, it was Times Square, right?
Yeah, where like Black Adam took over Times Square or whatever. That was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat.
You know, it must be nice to have The Rock as a name to be backing this project. Having The Rock as Black Adam kind of elevates the film.
Yeah.
At least like in a wider audience type of sense, where he's constantly promoting it, and he called one of the actors, right, to say that they were casted in the movie.
Yeah, I remember that. Like he got him like on the phone and like he had like a whole freak out moment. Oh, it was the guy playing Hawkman.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was when he called the Hawkman actor Aldous Hodge, who's a very good choice. I like him for Hawkman. I was looking at stuff here again, and there's actually a new casting news right now. Like within like the last 3 days, it came up, and it turns out the guy who plays Young Rock in the show Young Rock is joining Black Adam. So I would imagine that is going to be the guy who plays the non-Shazammed version of Black Adam.
Okay, I would guess prologue, flashback stuff of him acquiring the power.
Like that. Like that would make sense.
Hey, is the Wizard in this movie?
I don't know.
Because was it the Wizard? Was the Wizard around when Black Adam was there, or was that before his time?
No, I think he was there.
And I think that was, what's his name? Hansu. Digimon Hansu. Yeah. Because I was just thinking, like, we would probably get a younger version of him as the Wizard in this movie.
That would be super tight. I'm curious how much time this movie's going to cover. Because obviously they're fighting, like, the Justice Society with Hawkman and Stargirl being in it. but I don't know if they're gonna be like if that's gonna take place in like the '60s and it's like way before the Justice League existed. Like if they're gonna go that route.
Probably.
Could be. It could be a way for them to introduce Jay Garrick Flash would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
You know, we got Alan Scott Green Lantern showing up in the new show. So that could be a way to introduce him as through that movie. So I don't know. There's a couple different paths I think they could go with some of the Black Adam stuff because of how long he's been around. I'm sensing a lot of the Mummy kind of vibes.
Yeah, Google says Digimon Hansu is in the film. Oh, we didn't talk about this. The Dr. Fate casting as well.
Oh yeah, they casted Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
It's Pierce Brosnan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is great. That's like a perfect MCU Phase 1 level of casting, in my opinion. I think Pierce Brosnan is going to be perfect as Doctor Strange. Like his voice and everything are just gonna, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, very solid on the casting right there. Yeah, it's getting me more excited for this film.
I'm still pretty stoked for most of the DC stuff happening. I'm just bummed that it's not Snyder.
I think for me, it's they could always come back. Like it depends how. It just depends how they shape the rest of the movies, but they can always come back.
They could make more if they really wanted to.
Like we said in the Snyder Cut episode, all the movies still fit accordingly, right? Like with Aquaman, that still fits. And well, honestly, that's really it. Aside from Shazam, right? As far as connectivity and
Wonder Woman 84, I guess.
Yeah, but since that takes place before, you can
fudge some of the stuff in there. Yeah. I actually think that Wonder Woman 84 makes more sense in context with the Zack Snyder version than it does with the Joss Whedon version. Because nobody's making fun of Wonder Woman for having been in hiding for a long time in the Snyder Cut. Whereas in the Joss Whedon version, Batman just straight up calls her out on not saving people, but she saves people at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's that Avengers conflict. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's non-existent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's the version we're going to keep going with, folks. Be ready. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, man. That's...
Yeah, and then while we're talking casting still, HBO Max, the Green Lantern series, we got the casting for Guy Gardner, and yeah, we'll see what happens with it, right?
Yeah, you know what this guy screams to me? Is CW.
You know what? Yeah. You're not wrong.
They say this is an HBO Max show. I don't know, man. I'm kind of starting to wonder if it's going to be more CW in style, which I would think is a big bummer. But going off of what they said in the plot summary stuff, it kind of has more of the human drama element than the space action adventure element. Because Alan Scott is struggling with his identity and sexual orientation-y stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a whole aspect of the show. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I didn't want to just watch Space Cops. That's fine, I guess.
Yeah, Greg Berlanti is the executive producer, right? He shaped the Arrowverse.
I'm just hoping it's good because there's just not enough Green Lantern content at all. So you know what? I'll watch it because it's my favorite superhero. It's my boy. It's Green Lantern, so I will watch it. I really hope it doesn't just get bogged down in the human drama stuff. I would like more CG awesome fighting than that. I need to see these guys being space cops and going on a beat and fighting aliens, and that's all I want from this show is just alien space cop show. Just give me that.
And then that's pretty much it for DC as far as updates and news that's been out. I mean, wholesome stuff aside, since they're both actors in the DC universe, there was that video The Rock posted with his daughter and Jason Momoa wishing her a happy birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cute.
The video's fun because it's The Rock holding his daughter and they're watching Aquaman, and The Rock has like this serious face. He's like, "Who's cooler, me or Daddy or Aquaman?" And she says Aquaman at first because they're watching it, and I was like, "Oh, this is wholesome."
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he got Jason Momoa on like a FaceTime or whatever, and yeah, he was wishing her happy birthday and all this other cool stuff.
That's cool. That's really nice. Ah, all those DC people, man. Good wholesome folks. Can you imagine Aquaman fighting Black Adam at some point in these movies? That'd be a pretty interesting matchup, I think.
I would like to see that fight underwater.
Yeah, that would be tight.
I think that would show how intimidating Black Adam is if he's beating Aquaman
Yeah.
in his element.
Yeah, that would be super tight.
So let's go ahead and move on to some Marvel stuff that we got. I think the biggest thing off the bat is the Shang-Chi trailer that we got.
Oh yeah. I want to talk about this because I'm really stoked, actually. Shang-Chi looks awesome. I totally, spaced on it having a trailer come out, but I'm really excited. Really, really excited.
It was a nice gesture on Marvel's end. They dropped it on, I forget the actor's name, on his birthday.
Sim Liu or something?
Yeah.
I think that's his name. Sam Liu.
Yeah, trailer looks great. It definitely feels different from what we've been getting lately with the MCU.
A lot of good Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style movement going on in there.
Yes.
Some cool history, backstory stuff of how old potentially is this guy? I think his name is Wenwu, is the main dude, the main bad guy, the Mandarin. I think his name is going to be Wenwu.
Oh, okay.
At least from the action figures, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right. Yeah, I gotta love those leaks.
I'm a little bummed about how they're handling the Ten Rings. I'm not a big fan of them just being Sonic the Hedgehog armbands.
Yeah, they're going the modern approach. I mean,
I guess, but they're supposed to be ancient mystical objects, so I don't really get it. It's an odd decision.
I think we actually see a shot of, during the flashback stuff, of him wearing the rings.
Yeah, he charges them up on his arm. They look like a Mega Man cannon or something.
Yeah, with the blue. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's okay. Not how I would have wanted it to be. I would have wanted the actual 10 rings on the guy's fingers type deal.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with any of this stuff. The only real time I think I saw the 10 rings themselves was in the animated Iron Man movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only time they've ever really been shown is in the really old comics and the animated stuff.
Yeah, and I liked what they did in the movie. Yeah,
because they all have a different power. One's fire, one's ice, one's earth control, one's metal. They all have all 10 do different stuff. Whereas these ones just look like they probably shoot energy beams. Which, I mean, it's Marvel for you, I guess. Is
maybe practicality-wise, they had to do something like that.
Yeah, it's just an odd choice. It's not my favorite. I think they could have handled the 10 rings a little different. Especially considering that they had... they already had the look on the Mandarin back in Iron Man 3, and he has all the rings on his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, are you just doing it this way, so that way you don't make it look like the guy from the other movie that you just want to forget, because nobody wants to talk about Iron Man 3 anymore?
Right, yeah. Yeah, so the premise for this movie I felt was interesting. We have our main character, Shang-Chi, and we're assuming is the son of the Mandarin.
I think that's the implication, yeah, is that he's the Mandarin's kid, which is pretty cool. I like that twist on his backstory.
Yeah, because that's not how it is in the comics, right?
No, he's raised by a guy named Fu Manchu.
Right, yeah.
Straight up, that's his name.
That's right.
Yeah. And then our good buddy shared a picture, and it was Fu Manchu, but it was Nicolas Cage.
That's great.
And he's in some old movie where he's a character named Fu Manchu, and I'm like, oh, that's great. I don't know what movie that is, but that's awesome.
So we see Mandarin, I guess, gives Shang-Chi a chance to live a normal life in the course of 10 years. And yeah, so he's just living as a normal guy, and then they're coming back to pick him up, I guess.
They're like, all right, your time's over.
I'm guessing he's going to be the successor
of the 10 rings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like that's where they're going to take it.
And that's why Shang-Chi was sent out to the world, so he could see what's really going on out there, outside of the temple, and understand the responsibility of wielding the 10 rings or something. Something along those lines, I would guess.
Or why they have to, conquer people or whatever. Like the 10 rings, it's like, you must do this because you have seen how stupid humans are.
Yeah. Classic comic book content right there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm mainly excited, like you said, with the fighting choreography. It looks great.
All the fight scenes look awesome. The main guy is a professional martial artist outside of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
so he's gonna freaking rock it. It's gonna be super cool. I'm excited. I don't know. The only part I'm not excited about is Aquafina. I don't care about her character, and she's got a Target exclusive action figure, and I'm like, oh boy, good for her, I guess. I don't know.
She's pretty prevalent in these trailers. She's Shang-Chi's friend, so
She's the comedic relief sidekick character for this movie.
I mean, I know she's been in some big stuff. I haven't seen anything she's been in. I only know her for her music. Yeah, cool for her. She's a main Marvel character now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
She's like a Happy Hogan. Not quite at the forefront of the film, but pretty far up there.
What looked cool was these flashback scenes of a war going on.
Yeah, like I'm really curious if it's going to connect back over to Doctor Strange in any way. Because there's like all the Tibetan monk stuff, and it's very like Asian influence on the Doctor Strange side. And I'm curious if any of that tribe of people that Doctor Strange is with, what's the name of the place that they live?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
Oh my goodness.
I you know what? Doctor Strange needs a rewatch. Kamar Taj.
Oh, Kamar-Taj, yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if Kamar-Taj will come up. It seems like there's some mystical stuff going on with Shang-Chi and the Mandarin and stuff.
I'm assuming these orange glows that we see is magic. There's like that that lion dog from Chinese mythologies there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty dope if they did that. I'm so curious.
And then we did get a shot of Shang-Chi actually using the rings, controlling the water.
I don't think I picked up on that.
Yeah, it was... Let's see, I think it's when he returns back, to where they train, and there's water coming out of the walls, and it's frozen in the air. I'm assuming he's controlling it right there. Because before that, there's a shot of a fist wielding the rings, right? And that's where we see the blue effect. I'm assuming that's Shang-Chi.
Unless it's like a younger Mandarin.
Oh, that could be true, because we see in the background is the army from the flashback.
That's kind of what I was thinking when I saw the 10 rings in use in that scene. Okay, do you know who Fin Fang Foom is?
Yes, I do know who Fin Fang Foom is.
Do you think we're gonna see Fin Fang Foom in this movie?
Man, that would be a pretty big pull. I would be for it.
Because if they did Fin Fang Foom, I would argue that this is the best movie of Phase 4. Like, just for doing Fin Fang Foom, I think they would win. I'm very curious.
Yeah, we could really tap into that wild comic book side of Marvel more into the movie. Yeah, I'm for that.
And I love Razor Fist.
Yeah.
Sword Hand Man. I love him.
He looks like he's from Bloodshot.
He's awesome. I love his character design. It's great. He looks like he's going to be really fun. Okay, yeah, I saw the scene you were talking about with the water. And Shang-Chi's definitely in the scene, but he doesn't look like he has the 10 rings on him. Unless he's got like one of them or something.
Like you said, they each control a different element.
Yeah.
So I could see that happening.
And I know we don't see it super much in the trailer, but his action figure has definitely shown the costume design for like his big final superhero outfit, and it's pretty dope looking.
That was also with the poster too, right?
Yeah, and it's pretty dope looking. I really dig his outfit. Nice and understated, in my opinion.
You know what I like about it is it doesn't have that MCU material.
It doesn't look like the same like padded out stuff that's on like all of the Avengers outfits.
If anything, I would have preferred maybe a more cloth looking material, similar to what they wear in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like if the outfits were a little closer to that.
But no, I don't mind it. Yeah, it looks fine.
I like it. I like the fight scenes and everything so far, so I'm pretty stoked on this one. I think I might check this one out.
Yes. And then we get the release date of September 3rd.
Yeah, not too far. So Shang-Chi, I'm pretty on it. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm mainly excited for the fight scenes the most. More than likely going to be the highlight. I do want to see more of that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon effects coming in. I haven't watched Mulan, the live action one that Disney did, but I pictured that they would be doing something like that because it's more, that's sort of like a Chinese movie type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured Mulan would embrace that kind of aesthetic to the film. And I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen that one, but I feel like they're doing that here, and that is fantastic.
From what I understand from Mulan, they don't really like pay too much homage to that stuff.
That's
But I
unfortunate.
like that
Yeah.
it's a lot more prominent in this movie.
Yes.
It looks really good.
And I do miss seeing action scenes like that too. Well, right on, man. Other Marvel stuff. Hawkeye finished wrapping.
Yeah, Hawkeye finished filming. We got to see a picture of maybe part of his costume. It looks all right. Arms look a little weird, but the main chest piece looks pretty good.
Yeah, going with the current design for Hawkeye.
Like in the comics.
Yeah, with that purple arrow on the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a thing he's been rocking for a while.
I still want to see him in the little helmet with the ears.
Yeah.
Like the crazy face mask at some point, but I guess we gotta wait one more Avengers movie to get that one.
So that finished wrapping. Just to touch on it, because we were talking about Shang-Chi's outfit. We got set photos of Miss Marvel rocking her outfit. I don't like how it looks. To me, it looks like it's made out of rubber, which it probably is for like the stunts and all that.
Yep.
But just the way it looks like it's from a video game.
It looks like it's the video game suit from the video game. Not great. I'm not a big fan.
It's better than what she wears earlier in the show, which was the Captain Marvel cosplay.
Yeah. I just don't think I'm feeling the show in general.
Yeah. Again, honestly, it's the material for me. If they would have changed it, I think it could look a lot better. But then again, maybe like I said, it's probably for like the stunt stuff.
Like it's like a stunt version of the suit, so it's designed to take a few more hits. I'm curious how they're going to be doing the stunts. Like if it'll like obviously it'll be her to start with, but then like I'm curious if it'll be like a little person stunt double or something, or how much CG is going to be in the show.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Because are they keeping her as an Inhuman?
Yeah, I don't know. Because Inhumans aren't really in the universe.
No, they're in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. universe.
Yes, which is a different one.
We could just say that. Yeah, I'm curious to see what she does, because I think in the comic she was freaking out when she became an Inhuman. Her power is to morph, so she could, like in the game, as you see, right? She could stretch and grow big and all that. And then part of that is she tries to find comfort, and by doing, it's either like comfort or trying to find an identity to use to help people, and then she ends up taking on Captain Marvel's old outfit, which is Miss Marvel, but of course with a redesign. Because that's not the case here, at least for the costume. Okay, so she has the powers, but I'm guessing they're just not going to be Inhuman powers.
Inhuman powers?
Well, I mean, the basic synopsis on IMDb is that she's in New Jersey, and she learns that she has the polymorphous powers. I won't be watching it, but I'll just keep an ear out into how they're explaining what's going on.
I don't think I have it in me to care that much about the Miss Marvel show.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, if you guys are excited about it, awesome. Just, it's not my thing, man.
From what I've read about Kamala Khan in the comics, like the certain stories I read, like she's a cool character. So I can see, I know the excitement because she was insanely popular when she came out.
That's cool, I suppose.
And that's really all the Marvel news that I care to bring up anyways on the show right now.
There's nothing else I need to talk about.
But we can talk about real quick, May 7th, Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix will drop.
Yep. Pretty stoked to see that. Not sure what it's about, but it's about superheroes. So
yeah, there was a trailer not that long ago.
Oh, was there a full trailer?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago they dropped the official trailer.
Oh snap! I didn't see it. I'm just gonna watch it without sound real quick. All right, yeah, that looks really good. I'm really excited for that. That looks awesome.
Cool, man. It's from Mark Millar. Netflix has this the Millarverse, I think they call it, where they're getting a bunch of his comics that he's written over
that's
over
tight.
at Image. I never heard about this series until you brought it up to me a while back.
Yeah, it was just like a random picture I saw on Instagram that was like, hey, here's some suit designs. And I was like, oh, what's this about? And it's like, oh, this looks pretty cool. But Mark Millar, he's pretty famous as a comic book writer.
Excuse me, it's Miller World is what they're calling it.
I wonder if there's going to be a new Kick-Ass.
Oh, that'd be Kick-Ass 3?
Maybe? Or reboot.
I want to see our boy come back.
Yeah, that would be cool. But he's famously, he wrote Civil War, the Kick-Ass series, and Old Man Logan. Ooh, he also wrote Superman Red Son. That's pretty dope. That's a good book. Still gotta check out the animated version of it. I'm still curious about how that one turned out.
I'm glad I have HBO so that way I could catch up to these DC animated movies.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. I gotta watch a few of them.
That new one's looking interesting. To go back to DC, the World War II one.
Yeah, that one looks pretty neat. I kind of like that there are these stories that aren't necessarily based on comics. They're just kind of like with the characters that are around in the universe.
Yeah, it's cool. We have Barry Allen traveling back into World War II, and Wonder Woman's taking charge of the Justice Society. We see Jay Garrick and a couple other members. So yeah, Jupiter's Legacy. I'm curious to see what this show's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's gonna be a little bit more of a tight-knit show, kind of designed to be like a little bit more close quarters, or if it's going to be more broad in terms of like superheroes around the world. It definitely looks like a pretty serious show. I wonder if it'll be on the boys level of serious, or if it'll be like maybe a little bit more drama heavy or something.
Based off the trailer, I would say maybe drama heavy.
Okay. I like the weird Iron Man robot thing that they're fighting. Got some Sky High feel to me a little bit with the costume designs.
Oh, yeah, totally. I can see that.
I kind of like that their whole thing is that they get their powers by like going on some research expedition or whatever. I was kind of digging that too. I was like, that's pretty neat. But speaking of superhero shows, we both just finished a new one that came out recently.
That's right. It's time to get into the main section of this episode. From Robert Kirkman himself, from Image Comics, comes Invincible over on Amazon. 8 episodes in total. It's animated, and the most impressive thing is that each episode is 45 minutes long.
Yeah, they're super long and they're awesome. I love all the characters. I was telling you before the show, I've only seen like a few of the episodes, and some other big moments. I've seen obviously the last 2 episodes, so I can talk about all the spoilery stuff. But I was kind of aware Invincible, and I had found out about certain moments before the show happened because I just like randomly looked up bits of the comic and stuff. And man, that big twist is real good.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I only knew Invincible of the namesake and the main character Mark Grayson's outfit. Like I've seen it around. I was like, oh, okay, this is the guy from Image. That's all I really knew.
Yeah, I thought he was just an Image mascot for a while.
I mean, the Image logo is a lowercase I, just like how it is on Mark's outfit, the way it's designed, yeah.
I guess he is kind of their poster boy character.
So yeah, I really went in blind. The first trailer we got where Mark is talking to his father, who is Omni-Man, as they're playing catch in the sky, and just that conversation they had with each other, of Mark being scared of his powers that he just acquired.
Oh yeah, that scene's really good. I like that scene a lot.
That got me hooked right away. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're doing this kind of show. I'm all for it. And then as we watch the whole season, you find out like, oh, part of that's in there, but there is a lot more going on that is crazy that I wasn't expecting at all, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it. Oh, man, just the way they build up the mystery over the season's really good too. It's really well done. Everything's really well executed. The action scenes are nice and brutal, but in a way that's effective and not over the top to me. Like it's violent for a reason, which I really dig. And it's a lot more realistic, I guess, in that sense. Like it's like this is probably what would happen if people could throw other people through buildings and stuff.
Yeah, the destruction is great, particularly in the finale as well.
Whew, man.
That was some pretty heavy stuff going on.
I think overall I would definitely rewatch this show just to see all the episodes and get all the character dynamics and stuff. I'm happy that season 2 and 3 are happening.
Yeah, we got that confirmation prior to the finale, and that's great. I know I think there's like 140 something issues of the comic.
It's a long book, and it goes some places. Like I know some of the stuff it does later in the series, and it goes some places, man. But it's gonna be fun. I'm pretty excited about it. It goes good places, definitely not bad places.
The casting was perfect. Everyone did a fantastic job with their roles. J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man was nice.
Perfect. I love it. Really well done. I really like whoever plays Mark is excellent.
Stephen Yeun from Walking Dead.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, he does such a great job.
Yeah, we got them. Sandra Oh plays the mom. Again, another killer role here. I mean, you could see where the budget is going to this show on casting alone. A lot of big names in here.
Yeah, it's good stuff though. All of those names are put to good use. I even like that there's like some big comedy show actors in here playing a lot more understated of a role. Like they're
Yes.
still funny, but they're like not like over the top funny. Like there's good direction going on.
One thing I liked about the show was the balance that it was giving us into the story of Mark Grayson finally acquiring his powers, slowly becoming a hero, and then just more of exploring the world
Yeah.
and the scope of it, exploring the other heroes and the villains that are in here. All of it was well done. The pacing was fantastic. Man, when I was watching that finale, there was so much going on, and I was just looking at the time. I was like, wow, I can't believe I still have half an hour left in this episode. Like, what could even happen now?
Yeah, they kept all the stuff going like really strong in those final couple episodes. And if that's what the pacing of the rest of the show is like, I'm excited to go back to like episode 1 and start from the top. And I love all the designs of the heroes and the characters and stuff. Like especially like the original Globe Protector people. What are the name?
The Guardians of the Globe.
The not Justice League. I really love all of the designs of the original Guardians of the Globe. Some just really good plays on
The
Justice League's
League.
characters and stuff, and it's just really cool. I don't know, I liked it a lot.
One thing I will say, costume wise, I think I've seen some complaints with Adam Eve, one of the supporting characters, and it's with her logo mainly, as we see it's the female sign with an X on it.
Oh, I thought it wasn't an X. It's a travel path of an atom.
Yeah, that's how it is in the comics, but it's the more traditional one with the 6 paths or like the 3 lines that it usually has. Yeah.
But in this one, it's just an X.
It's just an X, yeah, and maybe that's just because animation.
It's probably easier to draw like one less line in all of her designs. I don't know. That's a weird thing to complain about to me. I don't know.
I would have liked to see the more common one because we really don't get an explanation of her powers until she decides to leave home and starts giving an exposition about her abilities. Because as a lot of people compared her to, it's a Gwen in Ben 10.
I can see her as, yeah, she totally looks like Gwen.
Looks like Gwen, has the same type of powers. And yeah, speaking of Adam Eve, I will say I am surprised by certain directions they took in the show. I was totally assuming that her and Mark were going to hook up in the show.
Huh.
Because I don't know, it felt like that's what to expect. But they went a different direction
Okay.
with Mark and with her. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I feel like from stuff I was reading, he doesn't get together with her in the comic books either.
I don't know because I read an article when episode 4, I guess, came out, and they were talking about a love triangle that's in the show, and I guess they were going in depth. I didn't really read it, but I guess something happens when you watch the rest of the episodes, Jake, and get down into more of the characters. You could feel that there could be something there, or it's like they're just really good friends. They have respect for each other, or it could be something more. But then again, with Adam Eve, there is a lot going on with her. Like she has a big change in her path that she wants to move forward, like in her future and all that. And so
Okay.
that might have something to do with just looking for somebody to talk to and other stuff like that. And another thing I wasn't expecting was just the stuff they were doing with. I guess just with Omni-Man, basically, the way, like, cause it's like, oh, he's, this world's Superman, but there's a lot more to it than just that.
Should we get into spoilers?
This was the most interesting thing for me. So yeah, spoilers for, I'm guessing we're talking about the same thing. The finale for Invincible.
Oh yeah, definitely the finale. Everybody needs to go. If you haven't watched it yet and you're gonna watch it, don't listen to this part. Just don't listen to it. If you haven't read the book, and you're gonna watch it, don't listen to this. Skip ahead.
I'll leave the timestamp in the descriptions.
But let's get into it.
Yeah. So as we find out in the pilot, the first episode, that Omni-Man, he kills the Guardians of the Globe, and that's the biggest mystery in the show. Is they're trying to figure out why would he do that? What are the motivations?
Yep.
And then in the finale, we get the reveal as he's explained to his son Mark. Viltrumites, everything he said was more or less true, except for the part that they are a galactic empire that's ever expanding in the sake for a perfect society. And I thought like, oh, okay, cool. This stuff is great.
Very Thanos-like motivations for a lot of it too.
Yeah, so that stuff was good, and just seeing the shift in character with him was fantastic. Just the way he was talking, his tone, and how ruthless he was being was a sight to see for sure. And to me, the most interesting thing I was not expecting was him explaining to Mark exactly what they are, and the fact that they're gonna live for thousands of years.
Yeah, like the faster, the more they age, the slower they age. I thought that was very interesting. It's like, whoa, that's crazy. And I just love that it all comes down to the final moment of like, who are you going to have left? Who are you going to have? And he's like, I'll have you, Dad. And I was like, oh my God. So sad.
Yeah, it was the emotions were set high in this episode.
Yeah, this was great stuff. I think the most horrific moment of this episode was the train. I don't know if I want to go into too much detail because it's super shocking and really dark. It's just messed up, man. It's so messed up. Man, I haven't had a superhero show do that to me in a long time. Like, have a moment like that.
Yeah, every moment between Mark and Omni-Man was great. You know, it really paid off at the end. We get the shocking reveal that he kills the Immortal at the end of the previous episode, and that really sets everything off.
Who may or may not be dead.
Yeah, if I had to guess, probably not. He'll probably be in a comatose state until something triggers him.
Just like this first time.
Yeah.
Them bringing him back.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes is when he like wakes up and like they got like the collar thing that's supposed to like stop him from doing stuff and he's just like, no, and he like rips it off and he's like, where's Omni-Man? Where the heck is he? I'm gonna go kick his ass. Yeah, I like this guy. Immortal's fun. He seems like a fun character.
I really like the surprise factor that Mark has when his father's explaining to him exactly what's going on. When I was watching the show, there was a moment, you said you saw this fight scene where Mark gets nearly killed by this lion alien creature. And in that scene, before Mark passes out, he sees his father flying in the air, watching the whole thing go down. And prior to that, you know, he's telling Mark like, oh, you know, don't go with this plan. You know, like that's lesser of you and you have big responsibilities and you're not. And like he's still a new hero at this point, you know, and at this point in the story, Mark's getting a little cocky, you know, because he's in love and he's taking down bad guys. He's feeling pretty good about himself. And then so for this to get a 180, you know, on one hand, it's his father sort of teaching him a lesson of like, you know, see, I kind of told you, but it's not really brought up ever again. And I thought it would be because, you know, Mark, I would assume he would probably be thinking about that. It's like, wait, did I see my dad watching me almost die? Or was that just me like seeing things before I passed out? The reason he wouldn't question is because of everything going on in his life right now, I think. Like there's so much going on. He only wants to feel the positive that's happening. Like he doesn't really want to think about anything bad. And so I think that plays onto well of like the big shock factor in the finale.
Well, and there's even that moment of desperation with Mark in the finale, right? Where he's like, who's controlling you, Dad? We're going to get you out of this. Mm-hmm. Like, why would Cecil sick this thing on you? Like, there's no reason to, unless there's something really bad happening. Which there was, but it wasn't mind control. And just the you love Mom, you love me, like, so perfectly delivered. Like, especially compared to, like, the comic book page. Like, it's perfect. Like, the way that the lines are delivered. Like, the voice acting is just... It is like top tier. Like this, oh man.
Yeah, Steven Yeun really killed it in this last episode.
Yeah, it's a chef's kiss, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the freaking ragged wheezing he's doing at the end of the episode. Oh man, it was so rough. I was like, oh, I can't deal, dude. It's so hard.
And so I don't know about you, Jake, but I was kind of hoping we were gonna get a pretty big time skip during the time when Mark was healing from those wounds.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping there would be a bigger one, too. But it's not that big of one, and it's to set up for season 2, I guess.
I wanted a bigger time skip, mainly because of the conversation where Mark finds out, like, oh, I'm going to live for thousands of years.
Yeah.
You know, and to have that really set in your mind when he wakes up like a year or so later or something, you know?
Yeah, like he just slept for that long. Instead, he heals in like a week.
I gotta say, one of my favorite parts is after he recovers and he's at home and he's looking at the family photos with him and his dad, and then we're just hearing the monologue he gives to Mark.
Oh, yeah.
And then it slowly shifts into a much darker tone by getting the flashbacks of all the destruction that was happening, and then like the music kicking in.
It's so good. And then him just slamming the thing down on the desk. There's a rift between him and Mark that wasn't there before. It's so well done. It's so good. This show just has very little touches with superpowers too that I really like. And one of them is like after they come home from like him recovering and they step in the door and he just starts floating because it's easier on his legs. That's awesome. That's exactly what superheroes would do. I love Robot's storyline. I think that's really cool. I loved his whole creating a new body thing and transferring his mind over and all that kind of deal.
Yeah, I love the setup for it, right? There's a lot of mystery behind exactly what he's doing. Why did he free the twins? He's growing this body. Initially, I thought like, oh, he's getting a replacement for Rex because he doesn't think Rex is a good fit for the team. So he was going to create a clone that was going to replace him, but with a better attitude and more of a, I guess, a leader type of role. But the twist and stuff, I really like the fact that he wasn't a robot either. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that was pretty great. I like that all the robots are just drones that he controls, and they're all just him. And it makes sense in context of like why he starts caring for Monster Girl so much. And I love Monster Girl. She's great. I actually really like the entire team. Weren't they like the teen people at first, and then they become like the new Guardians of the Globe?
Yeah, Teen Team, and then I forget his name. It's the veteran that worked alongside the Guardians of the Globe, but then he lost his powers.
Oh, Black Samson.
Yeah. And then there was 2 new members, which was Monster Girl and I forget her name, the girl that can shrink.
I gotta rewatch those episodes.
I mean, it's not like they get a lot of screen time. Like you could tell which characters are important, and that's how much screen time they'll have. But yeah, Robot was definitely a highlight for me in the story, mainly because I'm like, oh man, is he a villain? Is he trying to create his own perfect team? He's a robot that fell in love, right? Like I thought that was going to be an aspect, but it was going a much more maybe sinister side. Well, not sinister, like more obsessive to where it's unhealthy.
Yeah, but then it stays pretty tame actually.
Yeah, Monster Girl, she understands the situation pretty early, and it doesn't freak her out or anything. I think that's a good choice.
Another thing I really like about that, about Monster Girl is that she's the fact that she's aging backwards is like part of the curse.
Yeah, every time she uses her powers, she gets younger. So she can't use it for too long, and she'll more or less stay that age. And that's a big reason why Robot wanted to become a younger version of Rex, right? So now they're both adults trapped in young bodies. So now they have some more commonality between them.
Yeah, and I love his whole thing of like, the reason I chose you is because she found you.
Yeah, because it did kind of feel like they were going to be there was going to be a fling or something going on with them, because Rex is, I guess you could say, a wild card when it comes to the ladies.
Oh, man. Just like all the other characters that voice actor plays in real life and live action shows.
Yeah, I just gotta say, he did a perfect job being an asshole on the show.
Yeah. He's good at that. That's like one of his whole things. But yeah, I really like all the side characters quite a bit. I think they're all pretty good. I really like the mom a lot in this, and I like how she's like got a lot more agency in terms of like looking into what's happening and everything.
She's not just the mom.
Yeah, she's not just a mom. Like there's a lot more going on with her than just being a mom. So that was a really cool aspect of the movie or of the show that I like.
I liked everything with Cecil and I guess the government.
Oh yeah, Cecil and them are all really good. Like Globotech or something. I don't remember, but they're really cool. Yeah,
the cool part at the finale where the whole fluoride thing comes in.
That was great. I loved that. I was just like, that's funny. It makes it so you can't see a certain spectrum of light.
I was like, oh, maybe that's what they use for the suits too, for the soldiers that go invisible.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was really cool. I really liked his scene with Omni-Man out in the desert during the teleportation stuff, trying to, stall for time.
And like how close Cecil was to dying like the whole time. Anytime he would teleport, he'd be like, ha 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 ha, like almost pooping his pants.
Hmm.
Like of how close Omni Man was getting. Especially with like the final teleport and him missing like half his time, being like, woo, woo, woo. I was just like, that's a little bit of that comedy that the show gets in there, you know, like
Yeah.
it's a very dark show in terms of like the story overall, but I would say that in terms of how it handles that story, it's pretty light. It takes some aspects of it a little bit more lightheartedly. Like the characters are still able to have fun doing what they're doing. You know, ultimately all this stuff would be kind of fun and weird.
Yeah, and I think that reflects because Mark is the main character. Most of the time he's having fun as a hero, but every now and then he'll get snapped into reality and like, oh wow, this is a lot heavier than I thought. There's the scene where the alien army's coming in. He freaks out. He freezes. There's an elderly woman. She's bleeding real bad, and he takes her to the hospital, and he doesn't know what to do.
Ugh, that's rough stuff, man. I like how the show can kind of ride that line really well.
Yeah, and then again with the humor, it brings the balance. It doesn't shove it in your face. But yeah, man, I was having a great time every single episode. I couldn't wait for Fridays.
Did it feel like a show that suffered from being released weekly? Because I know that's something we've kind of brought up with other shows like Mandalorian and stuff, is that we kind of wish that the whole season just came out at once, so that way you could just binge it. Like, would you have preferred to have binged this one, or was this like, no, I liked watching it episode by episode.
I like the episode to episode. I think
Cool.
it being over 40 minutes helped because, usually animated episodes are 22 minutes. Yeah, so if it was going to be like that, I would have just preferred all at once. But them being almost an hour long helps. There's a lot to unpack with all the stories that are going in. What got me hyped every week prior to Friday was that Amazon would post posters for each episode.
Oh, that's cool.
The posters would reflect what goes on in the episode. I would take a look at that and be like, oh, that's cool. I can't wait to watch that.
That's awesome. I like that a lot.
Yeah, especially with the finale. There, I think if I'm remembering right, the poster was Omni-Man and Invincible staring down each other.
Gosh, that's one of the moments of the finale that I really like, is when Mark is just like, it's back in the moment where he realizes what's happening, and he's just kind of like, he sees the monster, he sees his dad, he just killed the immortal, and like he's putting two and two together, and he's like, whoa, wait, what? And like you can just see it like going over Invincible's face, even though you can't see his eyes. God, so good animation wise. Like,
yeah, I sent some posters in the Instagram chat for you to check out.
and I love how brutal the fights are, like, early on. Like, it's good stuff. Oh, that's so cool. Like, the transition between the two posters.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
so good. Oh, that's so good. I like that a lot.
I'm curious, Jake, what did you think of the way they introduced the title card into the episodes?
Love it. I love that. Somebody pointed this out, too. Like, I watched through, like, just the title card things, and each title card has more and more blood on it as the show goes forward. Like the blood like sticks to it and like just dries and adds on to the next layer. And I'm like, that's gross but cool. Loved it. Because the first the 2 episodes I watched, I was just like, they like, where's Mark? Where's and then it's just like credits thing, and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
One final note for me, I thought it's not a big miss, but they could have done something with it. Is early on when Mark's being invincible, there's certain moments where he's getting his ass whooped hard. He starts to get angry and then starts going berserk in a sense, like, just fighting crazy against the people he's fighting. And I thought, oh, maybe this is the rage Viltrumites have. That's why Omni-Man killed the Guardians of the Globe, maybe.
Oh, like maybe there's like a weird like genetic thing.
I was hoping like they would have explored that with Mark, because it happens twice where he goes into rage, and I thought when he was yelling and getting ready to fight these people, I thought like, oh, the last time we saw somebody like this do that, they killed a bunch of heroes, and I thought maybe Mark was going to be killing these villains on accident.
Oh man, that would have been crazy.
And then having to have that weight on him or something, that would have been cool to see. But I think the way they built him up about, he's just enjoying life right now, or he's just questioning a lot of things because everything's moving so fast. His responsibilities are shifting left and right. And maybe it was just a little too much for 8 episodes. to throw in there with everything else going on. That might not even be a thing that the Viltrumites have in the comics either, so...
Yeah, I don't remember that, if it is or not. It seems like for Mark, that's like when he gets his like superpower boost, because that was like the only time during like the big final fight he was able to go toe to toe with his dad a little bit, was when he got like super pissed with some of those punches. So is it only like flight, invincibility, and punching? Is that like all the Viltrumites can do?
I kept thinking Superman, and the show kept telling me don't think Superman, because I was thinking like, well, he would have super hearing, right, to hear these conversations. Not really.
Yeah.
Laser vision, not really.
No ice breath. He's just able to fly super fast and punch things really hard. So, which is totally cool. I buy it.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
And I was looking through the characters that are going to come up, because I don't know if he popped up at all yet. But there's a guy named Green Man who is literally just Green Lantern.
There's a character that shows up, but I don't think that's him.
I really like that. Oh gosh, what am I trying to say? It's just blanked out of my brain. Oh, I liked Seth Rogen's little cameo.
Yeah, he was cool. He was the alien that visits planets. Yeah, because I think he's a producer on the show too.
Very similar to
The Boys
and the other one, the
Preacher.
Preacher. Yeah, the Preacher.
I mean, again, overall, I had a really great time with the show. I don't know if you looked at them when you were watching, but on Amazon they kind of give you the I guess what's it called, like the X-ray thing or whatever. Like they show you who the cast is, and the other cool part about it is because this is based off a comic book, it would tell you the differences in the scene you're watching.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty tight. I like that.
Yeah, like the one big thing that was interesting was in the hospital scene in the finale with Mark and Cecil. It pointed out that like, oh, actually in the comics, this is the first time they meet. And I was like,
that's
oh,
cool.
Because they've talked and met prior to that scene in the show. Yeah, fun little tidbits here and there. I've said it on our other podcast, but Robert Kirkman was on Kevin Smith's podcast before the premiere, and he mentioned that like, yeah, he would go back to his comics because he has to write a screenplay for it. And he figured like, well, since I wrote this so long ago, like we could make things better for the show. So that's why there's certain differences going on in there. So that makes me curious to hop into the comic and, see exactly how it was originally.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick it back up because I know I read like bits and pieces of it like a long time ago and thought it was really interesting. I just wasn't like super jazzed by like the costume designs in the comic book. Seeing them in motion, I think helps a lot. I don't think they quite are as good. Like on the page, I think they don't have quite as much pizzazz as they should.
And well, a part of me also doesn't want to read it because just like The Boys, I kind of don't want to spoil the show.
That's definitely an aspect of like the most that I know about the comic book is where we're caught up to in the show. So I'm kind of like I know a little bit about what happens in the future, just from like comic book covers and stuff, but I haven't like fully read any of it. So I'm kind of like I could pull back on it a little bit.
But then the thing I think about is, well, since these episodes are long, that means it's probably going to take a while before season 2 drops.
There could be potential for more after that if they want to like write more on the show, I guess. I'm just not sure how it ends. Like if it's a pretty succinct ending or if it's
Yeah, there's 144 issues, so there's a lot to go through. But yeah, man, fantastic. And when I was watching the show, I was like, man, this really isn't, to me anyways, it really wasn't helping Falcon and the Winter Soldier to have this run simultaneously.
Yeah, no, I don't think they say that Falcon and the Winter Soldier did really well, but I don't know if I buy it. They're gonna have to do some pretty hard convincing for me to try and pull that one on me. I think Invincible's a really good show, and I'm excited for a second season. I'm pretty stoked. They better get on it like ASAP, because I want to watch more.
All right, man. So I think with that, safe to say we could go ahead and wrap up this episode.
Yeah, I think. I wanted to throw in one little thing here. We got a little bit of sad news for another movie universe that we both love, the Venomverse. Morbius has been delayed by 1 week.
I'm surprised because of the Netflix deal they did. To me, that would say, like, pull it in sooner.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Is that they announced the Netflix deal, but then a week later, Disney announced the deal that they're getting all of the Spider-Man movies. Like, it was literally like the week after. Like, they were like, We've signed the deal to get Homecoming and Far From Home. and future Spider-Man stuff onto Disney Plus. And I was like, oh, they didn't want those movies over on Netflix, did they?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that deal includes Venom and Morbius, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe that's part of Sony's deal. Is like, no, the reason these movies are being made is because of the attachment to Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, right? Like I could see them saying something like that. So it's like, so if you want Holland's movies, you got to bring these along with you.
But boy, it's a weird... Morbius and Venom 2 are caught in a weird limbo. I just want to see Morbius, because I would imagine that it's probably done at this point, right? Like, I'm pretty sure it's done, right? Like,
Yeah, this is really just New Mutants all over again.
Which is a bummer. I really hope this isn't just a case of, like, Disney trying to bury it. Being like, no, we don't want it anywhere.
So whenever that deal happens with Spider-Man going to Disney Plus, that means the only movie that's not on Disney Plus from the MCU is The Incredible Hulk.
Yes, because that one is on a different app, right?
I mean, I don't know, is it? Because that's what's it called? That's Universal.
Oh, you know what? It's probably on Paramount Plus or whatever.
I don't think they're really upset about that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's the one movie that they're kind of like, only Cannonball Ross. That's all we want back from that movie.
Unfortunately.
Because it would be kind of fun to see Liv Tyler come back and be the girlfriend character again. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind her coming back. Honestly, I just want to see Abomination come back.
I'd be super into that.
Did they say he's on the raft?
I think that was something that Feige said, was that him and the Mentalist guy are both on the raft. Like both the villains from Incredible Hulk. And now Zemo's on the raft.
Some Dark Avenger stuff, probably. And
Yeah. I'd imagine there'd be something like that in there.
Yeah, it feels like they kind of set that up at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier with U.S. Agent.
Because he's working with Madam Hydra, right? And I'd imagine nobody knows she's Madam Hydra yet. What a lame casting for Madam Hydra, by the way.
I will say I want to see how they were going to introduce her originally in Black Widow.
I don't buy her as, like, that character. It's Elaine. I'm sorry, you can't... You can take the Elaine out of the Seinfeld, but you can't take the Seinfeld out of Elaine.
Well, all right, man. I think with that, let's go ahead and wrap up. Thanks, guys, for sticking around for this episode. We might be back soon, talk about Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah, I'd be down to come back and talk about that. I don't know if there's any new Star Wars stuff on the horizon that we can talk about. I guess Bad Batch is happening soon.
First episode is May 4th, yeah. Yeah, so when we come back, we could talk about Jupiter's Legacy and our thoughts about Bad Batch.
I hope Bad Batch is good. It's got, interesting thing about Bad Batch is it showed, the voice actor who plays Anakin on there. So I don't know when this show's supposed to take place now. Because Bad Batch didn't get introduced until the end of the Clone Wars. So I don't know if this takes place before Order 66 happens, or after, or what. I'm not sure. So that's something I'm kind of curious about, is where this takes place.
All right, so while we wait for those episodes to drop, Jake, where can we find you at?
Oh, you guys can find me anywhere on the internet at Corruption Cosplay with K's. Our trailer for Shattered Past Episode 4 just dropped, and it's awesome. It's super tight. You catch glimpses of Lord Draken in there, who I am playing in the series. So if everybody wants to go give that a watch and a check out, that would be super cool. It's at Crimson Vision Studios YouTube page, and we're really stoked. This episode's looking miles better than some of the other, not miles better, but the quality on this episode, there's a definite improvement over the last few. Pretty stoked, pretty excited. Can't wait for everybody to watch it. Maybe we'll talk about it here on the show. I don't know if you know anything about Power Rangers, Danny.
I've played the fighting game.
The Shattered Grid?
I've played that, and I've watched the movie that came out in 2017 already.
The movie's really good, but it doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing.
Power Rangers, yeah.
Yeah,
that was a series I never really got into for some reason.
You missed out, bro. Power Rangers is some good stuff. Good big anime moments in the later seasons of Power Rangers. I would highly recommend going and checking Time Force. Is really good. A lot of good anime stuff going on in that show. But Danny, where can we find you?
As always, you could find me anywhere on social media at Negator7. as well as the other podcast, Unverse Podcast. I do manga reviews there, and we talk about a bunch of other stuff that we don't bring up here as well. And then you can follow the show at Marvel Talk Cast on Instagram, and you can send us an email, marveltalkpodcast@gmail.com, if you have any questions or comments. We'd love to hear some feedback, and we could always bring it up on the next episode. So again, guys, thank you for listening, and until next time.
What's something Invincible says?
I know, I'm trying to think.
He doesn't really have a catchphrase.
It just cuts off before they say his name.
And we can't really do that in this medium. Write your own future, write your own past. All right, bye.